Bitcoin continues to chop, and we just hit a little bit under 108K, which is significant to say the least. When it comes back to Bitcoin on the daily, we're down about 2.5%. Nothing too crazy there. However, the problem here that we have is Bitcoin dominance is still pretty high. Now, I do suspect that we will see a drastic sell-off on Bitcoin dominance, because even before the recent crash and before Bitcoin dominance had this massive spike all the way up to like 63% or so, I was predicting that we were going to hit this blue zone, and this blue zone is demand. Now, so far, we did wick all the way as high as 63+%, but since then, we've been starting to weaken within this blue zone, which is why I'm also expecting this thing to sell off in a big way. However, until we see that big sell-off and until we see Bitcoin dominance weaken in a huge way, we need to make sure that we are watching Bitcoin closely. We want to watch Bitcoin closely for a major reversal on the chart. We have yet to see that major reversal just yet. And the reason why this is so important is because whatever Bitcoin is doing in this market with dominance being this high, it does affect altcoins significantly, which is also why HBAR is still hovering around 17 cents currently on the chart. Looking at the price chart, this is what we are looking at. Now, I would love for us, if we are going to see a much deeper pullback in the market, and if we're going to see a huge, drop on Bitcoin yet again, I would love for these lows to be maintained. These are all higher lows going all the way back to April of this year. And if we are going to maintain this, our low here would be about 14.5 cents, which is 100% possible of being hit. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking. Well, Nick, didn't we already hit a massive low of like 8.5 cents here on Friday, October 10th? The main thing about this is on most exchanges and almost across the board, these wicks are all different because, again, those liquidation events where we have those massive wicks, almost every single one of those are untradeable. So we don't even register them as like all-time lows or anything like that because, again, these are essentially scam wicks. And we've seen these multiple times over the years in crypto. XRP, for an example, its all-time high of $3.84. Although, yes, that's its all-time high. That was a scam wick. No one was able to buy, sell, or trade those targets because it was it was basically a glitch on an exchange overseas. So when it comes back to a lot of these liquidation wicks that we see on these charts, majority of them are not actually real. But I will say this. The main thing that we're looking at here is not exactly wicks anyways. We are looking at candle body closes. So we want to see candle body closes above that upper trend line. And if we are going to target that 14 to like 16 cent zone, watch for major signs of momentum and strength around these lows because we do not want to see a single 3-day candle close below this trend line. But I just want to make sure that you guys are aware that we could see these lows once again. So if we are looking to buy heavy or, average in more, that target would most likely make the most amount of sense. Now, during this time, we still are focused on Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance. I don't think that the market is topped out. I've been seeing a lot of people trying to call the top right now. I just don't think that that's the case that's in front of us currently. Now, beyond that, let's talk about a few things because I really do think that HBAR right now is essentially, a volleyball that we're trying to hold underwater. It's going to, at some point in time, the pressure is going to build and it's going to blow. And when it comes to Hedera, we have so much good news stacking up behind this price action that we have in front of us. This price action is all negative. Obviously, right now, the sentiment in this space has been extremely negative. And I would argue that it's been like this since going all the way back to January. So we are currently 273 days in to us just consolidating, trading sideways, trading in a downtrend, all while good news is stacking up behind this negative price action. Just for reference, recently, the Hedera network witnessed a major spike. We have over here from hgraph_io. The Hedera network is seeing large spikes of transaction utilizing the crypto service today. This is a 20x increase over regular observed volumes. And yes, we could see the overall network spike here, and this is very exciting. Now, what could this be? We have no idea. However, there's been a lot of growth happening around the Hedera ecosystem, and there's been a lot of things announced over just the last couple weeks that we've been putting a spotlight on. When we are looking at the network itself, now they were looking at this in the last 2 days. If we're just looking at this in the last, we'll say 2 days as well, right? This takes a little bit of time to load. However, when we are looking at this, and I believe that they're looking at the transactions. So let's go and look at transactions. 1 second. So looking into the new transactions, these are those big spikes from earlier today that were pretty significant. I mean, we're talking about 322,000 transactions around new crypto transactions, and then also 347,000. Now, since then, have we dropped off a bit? Yeah, sure, we have. But the main thing here is, what exactly is this pertaining back to? Well, it could just be DeFi related. It could be some of the recent announcements really kind of starting to witness a big spike as well, some major tests. But the main thing that we're looking at here is just the fact that Hedera still has a massive amount of utilization happening on it, regardless of how the market conditions look. It's very similar back to the bear market of 2022. Even though the market was extremely negative, we still witnessed Hedera continuously making major moves. And today, that's still true. We also just witnessed 6,500 developers submit more than 800 projects to the Hedera Hacks Hackathon. Big shout out to HBAR Tata for this. This is the largest hackathon ever in Web3 with a $4 million prize pool, and it's open to anyone. Hedera is quickly becoming one of the most active networks for builders. And yeah, it continues to see increased adoption from not just enterprises and institutional side like players. We're also seeing retail diving on in. And these hackathons are a great way to build up network momentum and also expand the ecosystem as well. And then also Token Relations put out 2 great posts. This one is regarding just the ecosystem growth itself from the last 6 months. This is summed up in 7 squares. So we could see DEX volume, 1.52 billion, HBAR stake, 294,000, transactions processed, 89.5 million, active users, over 292,000, which is also a very significant stat, 141 million TVL, 224.5 million stablecoin market cap, and 208 million just based around USDC stablecoin. But this is great stats, especially for Hedera. Now, on top of that, talking about some of those recent developments, I mean, we've been addressing them, right? There's been a ton of great announcements this year alone. Back in April, we witnessed Hedera integrate the Chainlink Cross-Chain Interoperability Protocol, CCIP. Binance integrated native Hedera USDC support. Hashgraph achieved 2 cybersecurity milestones, ISO 27001 certification, and also committed to the CISA Secure by Design pledge. Hedera updated its transaction fee model to eliminate charges for successful Ethereum transactions. Then in May, Hedera announced strategic changes and the rebrand of both the HBAR Foundation and the Hedera Governing Council. Hedera launched the AI Studio. 21 Shares launched Hedera ETP to the Euronext Amsterdam and Euronext Paris exchanges. Vera and the Hedera Foundation partnered up to work on carbon markets. StagX launched $100 million worth of real estate tokens for its institutional real estate marketplace. Then, in June, Arrow Electronics, a global distributor of technology solutions, joined the Hedera Council. The Binary Holdings, a Web3 infrastructure provider for the telecom sector, partnered up with the Hedera Foundation to expand Web3 gaming on the network. The Australian digital dollar, a stablecoin backed one-to-one by the Australian dollar, launched on the Hedera network. Blockchain for Energy, a non-profit consortium of leading global energy companies, joined the Hedera Council as well. Now, in July, we also witnessed Hedera collaborate with NVIDIA, Scan UK, and Accenture Public Sector. Hedera's stablecoin market cap reached an all-time high as well. Then in August, Kaio expanded its tokenized fund offerings and on-chain infrastructure for regulated RWAs to the Hedera network. Then in September, Archix launched its pool token functionality on Hedera. And then Canonical Ethereum launched on Hedera for easier access to Ether liquidity. All of this happened in just the last 6 months. It's crazy, but this is just a small glimpse into what Hedera has been doing. And then we just witnessed another big move, which was this one, which is at GITEX Global 2025, BIA Group partnered with the Hashgraph Group to launch one of the region's first decentralized digital identity solutions powered by Hedera, a major milestone for enterprise adoption of Web3 technology in the UAE. Here we have the official announcement from Genfinity. So BIA and the Hashgraph Group deploy ID Trust, a Hedera-based decentralized digital identity platform to power smart city and enterprise integration. By the way, this is an application that's already out there on both Android and also Apple devices. BIA Group, a regional leader in sustainability and smart services, has partnered with the Hashgraph Group to roll out a decentralized digital identity platform called ID Trust, built on the Hedera Hashgraph network. This platform introduces a privacy-first identity layer that will serve employees, customers, residents, and enterprise partners. The partnership launches with support from the Hashgraph Association's Enterprise Accelerator Program and represents a key step in BIA's long-term digital transformation goals. This is very significant considering the fact that BIA spans environmental services, smart real estate, healthcare, and clean energy with operations across the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. The first phase of the rollout will focus on internal use cases such as employee and partner identity verification. Later phases will expand to smart city applications and public sector integration. This roadmap reflects a gradual and strategic implementation plan grounded in enterprise needs. So yeah, I mean, this is a very, very exciting announcement. We first heard about this back in March of this year, and it's now becoming a reality. And when we think about these digital cities, I know that we've talked about them in the past on, how they're not a good thing. And I still think that that's true today. I still don't like the idea of, how things are really kind of moving in that direction. However, it's already happening. There's no stopping this if it's already in place. But the good thing is that we can invest into the underlying technology that's being utilized for this so that it can help benefit us, and then we can help benefit others by using the money that we make off of these investments. But these smart cities have been in play for so long. I believe Hedera has also had a hand to play in this all along, since going all the way back to 2021. We know that Hedera was selected for Australia, actually. Australia wanted to launch digital-based cities, and Hedera was utilized with that, with FPOS at the time, which became Australian Payments Plus. But, we know that Hedera has been a part of that for a very long time. But these announcements continuously are happening based around Hedera. And I'm not just talking about digital-based cities. I'm talking about all of these big announcements are happening at a time where, again, the market is still very rough. Everyone is still extremely bearish across the board. And I get it, right? It's very easy to be bearish right now in this market. However, 10 days ago, that's right, 10 days ago, Bitcoin was trading at $126,000. We are trading at 108.3K currently. And although, yes, we just witnessed another big drop in the market, I'm not getting shaken out at this moment because I really don't believe that the market is topped out just yet. And I still think that altcoins have a much larger move waiting for them. I know that I'm taking significant risk here, but I'm also putting my money where my mouth's at because I still have so much money tied back to this space. And I haven't sold a single HBAR at all this cycle because I just don't think that this is the top. But I still think that HBAR is going to hit significant highs and break those all-time highs going all the way back to 2021 and go into price discovery and hit even much larger highs than what most people are expecting. I've witnessed these major shakeout events before. We saw this shakeout happen back in the beginning of 2021. It was like the end of 2020 into the beginning of 2021. Altcoins got completely wiped out. Nobody wanted to touch altcoins. The same goes for now, right? When it comes to HBAR, I just talked to you guys about 270 plus days of just sideways momentum. I mean, this is extremely bearish. A lot of people are getting tired of this. So this is at a time where most people have given up all signs of hope when it comes to altcoins having any big push in this market. But I want you guys to understand at times like this, it's so important to focus on the fundamentals. And we are seeing so much growth happening around Hedera. We're also starting to see so much growth happening around the crypto space. I don't think that the market is topped out. But hey, if you think that the market's topped out, I'm not trying to persuade you guys otherwise. You do not need to hold through all of this. But I really do think that this market is going to see significant highs being breached yet again, and we are going to see this market wake up yet again as well. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video.